and welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly. Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today I'm going to be talking to a wonderful guest, Reem El-Hassany. Hello, how are you today?
Hi Logan, thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm really good today. How are you keeping?
Brilliant. Today we're going to be talking about music and loads of different subjects that involve Reem. And today I like to think, something that I haven't said, and something that I really like to think about in an interview is that it's a chat that tells a story and not just an interview. So let's hope we learn a lot now. So for my first question, I always ask this question. For those who don't know you, Reem, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and different things that you do?
Yeah, of course. Hello, my name is Reem El-Hassany, like you said. I currently present News Today alongside Molly, and before that I was a pharmacist, and I still am a pharmacist on weekends. A little bit about myself. I don't know, that's kind of what I do in my free time. I like to go on runs, I like to crochet, I like to bake, I like to cook, and I like to spend lots of time with my friends and family.
That's brilliant. It's so varied, actually. So for those who actually don't watch News Today, could you tell us a little bit about what News Today is, what you talk about on News Today, and who it's designed for?
Yeah, so News Today is RTE's kind of like dedicated children's news program. So it's just the team of us is really small. So it's just myself, Molly, Avril, and Emery, the two editors, and we work together every day to kind of like see the top stories that are in the news, like adult news, and see what is kind of like relevant to children, break it down for children, make it easy to understand, not just for children, but for adults as well, because sometimes some things in the news are really complicated and kind of difficult to understand. So we kind of like work on getting the most. Sorry?
Kind of boring, yeah.
So we work on getting the exciting stuff. We always have an animal on the show, which is our favorite part. And so that's what it kind of is. And I work on presenting that. Like today, our show is very varied. It has a mix of everything. So today we had Molly's package on biodiversity. We had an interview about artificial intelligence. We had a little kicker then at the end about a giraffe getting an X-ray. So it's really varied. So we cover a wide range of things. So
then, just for those who are viewing and they'd like to watch News Today, because actually after this interview I'm going to look into that episode. That's brilliant. But you guys can go onto the RT player and you can look at all the News Today episodes, because how long do they last? 13 or 14 days?
I think they last 2 weeks on the player, but I think if you go on to like rte.ie, all of them are there. I think all of them are there under like News Today or something. They're all there. So I'd say from September this year, they're all there.
They're really good shows, and you should look out for them. And I was on one, so
yes, one of our favorite guests.
I know the inside of it. Very interesting. So you are a journalist and you work on News Today, and you have been doing lots of jobs up until this. So I'd like to ask you, what or who, because a lot of people are inspired from people, what inspired you to get into journalism?
I don't know if I had a who, to be honest with you, but I remember from like a very young age, I'd say I really realized I kind of wanted to get into journalism when I was maybe 13, 14. I used to pretend I had like a little talk show with like all my friends and stuff like that, and I'd have them on and I'd ask them questions about God knows what and do a little whole interview process with them kind of thing. So I feel like from then I really loved kind of like getting to know people in that kind of way, getting to find out like little things, and just kind of that setting as well, kind of like, I suppose it's not just like it's an interview as opposed to like, you know what I mean, getting that information out and stuff like that. It's really nice and sharing those stories. And also then I feel like as I grew older, I kind of wanted to share more stories with people, like not in that setting, but like, you know, from like different backgrounds, different communities and such. And I feel like I really love doing that on News Today, because going to schools, you get to see all sorts of things, you get to meet all sorts of kids, and like it's honestly the funnest job in the world. Like, what job do you do? I don't know, Harry Potter Day and biodiversity and go out with seals and all sorts of things. So it really is the funnest job in the world. So I absolutely love that. So from that age, 13, 14, I knew I wanted to do this. But then as I kind of got older, I really loved chemistry. Like when I was in school, I loved chemistry so much. It was probably one of my favorite subjects. And I remember when I was applying for my courses, I was like, oh, can you imagine your life without chemistry? And I literally was like, no, I can't. So I was like, I need to do pharmacy. I was like, I need to do more chemistry. I'm not done with this subject just yet.
Fair enough. It's actually very interesting. So we'll get to more questions about how you worked in a pharmacy later in this interview, which is going to be very interesting. But and you also, and I thought this was amazing when I saw it, you did some shows or a series of shows on as a radio show for your secondary school. How is that? That must have been brilliant to have that job, to be able to do that.
That was really fun. I'm actually surprised you found that. I don't think the shows exist, thank God. But that was, I think I was in first year, and I think the music teacher had like I don't know what it's called. Do you know I actually don't know the word.
Radio.
Kind of like, yeah, like the sound box where you've got mic plugged in and you alter the different kind of like.
Oh, a language lab.
Something like that, where so me and my friend, we had like two mics stuck into this kind of thing, and then we would go out over the intercom at lunchtime, and then we would be like played in the hall and in the classrooms and stuff, and we just play random songs, and like it was a bit of fun, but it was I absolutely loved it. Like I absolutely loved it. We're just here talking away, having the time of our lives, playing different songs, putting up the sound, putting it down, and I think it was just the teacher like knew it's something that we'd be interested in or something. I just don't remember how it came about, but I remember I really loved it.
That's actually a brilliant story. And I think a lot of kids who are into journalism and media, and especially the whole side of broadcasting, will relate to that, because a lot of people would have did those home shows or school shows where they're just having the crack while recording it. And I think that's brilliant.
I think you're cool because like your radio DJing and stuff like that. I wish I did that when I was younger. That's unreal.
It's very fun, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And I think that's one thing that really helps when I'm doing these things, passion.
100%.
I'd like to go back to another question, actually, and I'm kind of interested here. What shows did you grow up with? Well, what stuff did you watch on TV?
I was a Disney kid. I loved I grew up watching Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, the Lizzie McGuire show, all those kind of shows. So I was a proper Disney kid, SpongeBob SquarePants, all those kind of like do old school kind of shows and stuff. They'd still be trending as memes and things like that sometimes nowadays, especially SpongeBob and things. But I grew up watching a lot of them. I also grew up watching a lot of my sisters loved horror movies, like my older sister and stuff, but I would tend to avoid those because I'm still to this day very scared. So wouldn't be for me. But I know that my mum watched like really kind of like she loved watching documentaries and things like that. And she also loved like watching like real slice of life kind of movies. Like I would be bawling crying at them because it would just really get you in the feels, those kind of things. So I grew up watching a lot of like different things, a lot of Arabic TV as well, kind of thing. So shows that would kind of come on like based on different seasons and stuff. So yeah, grew up watching quite a variety.
So you were influenced with different media aspects by everyone in your family, and I think that's very interesting. And now I have a very odd question regarding the horror films. Did you just stay away from them with good sense to know I'm not going near them, or did you not know about horror films and did you learn it the hard way? Just as a funny question I'd like to ask.
I'd say it was actually probably a mix of both, because it was my older sister and my sister who was just a couple of years younger than me, and then my neighbor who was my best friend at the time. So she'd come over to my house nearly every evening because we were only across the road from each other growing up. And every evening I would be outnumbered because we'd always be like, let's watch a movie. And guess what they all vote for and what I didn't vote for? So it was 3 votes for a horror movie. And then it was just me that was like not anything but a horror movie. So I never won. So they would have it on, and obviously I didn't want to be out of the group, so I would sit in the back, and I think I was like on the laptop, and I was on like neopets.com, which was like an old website where you could like play with like online games with like animals and things like that, and I'd just be watching through like my fingers or like playing with my animals, like hoping I didn't see, but I saw all the scary bits, and I'm still scarred to this day.
Fair enough. I mean, a lot of people stay away from horror films, me myself included. I don't get them.
I do now. I
They
don't
just
get them at
I
all. I
don't
stay
really
away.
get
I
scared.
don't
I
even.
just get mentally triggered that I look at something and I just can't stop thinking about it.
I'm
But
the exact
we'll
same.
move away from that. And I understand because I was looking at this actually. I read about that you studied pharmacy and you said about that earlier. But how did that turn into working in RTE?
I get asked this question a lot. um, Pharmacy, like I said, growing up, I couldn't imagine not studying chemistry anymore. I really loved it. It was one of my favorite subjects in school. But alongside that, I really liked maths and English. They were also my favorite subjects. And like I said, when I was like a teenager, like I'd have like little talk show moments and like sharing stories and stuff like that with my friends and things like that. I really loved that. So it was always something that I knew I liked and was always there in my mind, kind of thing. And then I was actually teaching English out in Korea. And then I remember I was like, I feel like I want to do this. Like I really want to do this next. Like I don't want to stay out here. I don't want to go back to pharmacy. I really want to get my master's in journalism and see what this is about. And then COVID happened, so I actually ended up leaving Korea early to come home. And I had applied for my master's while I was out there. I got in when I was back, and then yeah, no, started my master's when I was back, and I was able to do it while I was working part time and stuff like that. And the rest is history. The job came up while I was studying, and I started off the end of that. So it was really worked out quite well, thank God.
You started off in September 2020, right?
2021. So I finished my
Yeah,
master's.
2021, yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, COVID, it just messed up everyone's timeline. But yeah, I think with RT News today, it's actually very interesting how you got into that. And I was very curious before this interview to see how you were going to answer that because I was very intrigued to see how you were going to answer it. But then when you started hosting News Today, because it's such a successful show, how did you find it hosting at the start? Were you nervous or were you very excited or were you a little bit of both?
I was when I got the phone call to say I got the job. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you got a number?" I was like, "No way, no way!" I was so excited when I got the phone call because it really was like probably my dream job. So I was super, super excited about that. And then when I did start, I was very excited, obviously, because it's such an exciting time. It's such an exciting job. But my God, I was very nervous. And I remember like we did like rehearsals and
Yeah.
like different things and stuff, but it wasn't the same. Like I remember when we did on News Today, when you have a new presenter, the old presenter kind of like introduces you in the first show, like this is the new person on the team kind of thing. So I remember we were going in and I remember Michal was interviewing me because that's kind of what they do. Like we do like a few questions and stuff, just so the viewers kind of get to know, I suppose, the new presenter. So I remember Michal was interviewing me and my heart was pounding. I could feel my hands shaking and I was so nervous. And like I knew, especially I was really nervous because this is my first time live on air. So I knew that all my family were watching, all my friends were watching, everyone was watching. I was like, oh, I'm so like that was really nerve-wracking. But I got through it and that was nice because like obviously I had Michal there. And then I think a week later I did my first solo live show. And I feel like now I don't really think of it as being live. Like now I'm just so used to it. Like I get nervous sometimes, but like not as like when that was my first solo live show, I think I was shaking again. I'd say I was holding my script like this, like oh. But no, now I feel like you get used to it. The more you do get used to it.
That's actually it's it's actually a lesson in itself that a lot of people are very nervous going on to live television, and really they shouldn't be. Now this is going to be a very controversial question.
Oh,
One of my
I don't
favorite.
know if I'm ready.
Lovely. I love these controversial questions. So obviously you're working in RT currently doing News Today. So do you have a dream job though in RT? Do you have one that you love News Today and all, but there's one job or there's some job that's better than working on News Today?
Oh, better
And
than
you
working.
have to be honest.
Oh, better than working on News Today. I already said that like getting News Today really felt like when I got that phone call, it really did feel like I was getting my dream job. Like I was ecstatic when I heard that I got this job. And like working on News Today, I absolutely love it because I get to go out to schools. I get to see all the fun things that kids are doing. I get to interview kids like you all the time. I get to meet such cool people. I get to see cute animals every day. What more would you want from a dream job?
I mean, cute animals struck me once you said it. I'm a big fan of animals. I'm very much a sucker with
You have any animals at home?
my dog especially. If
Oh,
he wants something, he just looks at me and he gets it because he's so adorable. But this I asked my uncle Graham Hopkins when I was interviewing him, and he came out with the answer being a worker in a coffee shop or starting a coffee shop. So this is actually a very interesting question, and I really love this question. If you were not a journalist and if you were not a pharmacist,
ooh.
what would you do?
I've thought about this a lot. Okay, I
Really?
I have thought about this a lot because I love arts and crafts. I really love kind of like
Oh, I
I
like where
love
this is
I
going.
love crocheting. I love embroidering. I love making bits of jewelry. I love all kind of things to do with my hands, kind of thing. I'm very much like I really like just like creating kind of things like that. I love like playing with Lego and like creating all sorts of like random different things. So I would definitely love to be kind of like I don't know, a jewelry maker or like a crocheter or like an embroiderer or something, like cute little tops with like embroidered designs or something, or like cute little crocheted hats and teddy bears, which is what I already make, or like cute earrings or hair accessories or something. But I definitely love to be doing something crafty with my hands for sure.
That's actually something that I know a lot of kids in my class. I'm in an all boys school, so it's a bit different, but all the kids in my class are very much into art. They love art, they love drawing, they love sketching. We all talk about drawing all the time. We're very creative. Our best subject is art as a whole. Our
Okay.
teacher's always like, how are you so good at this and not at the other subjects? So it's very funny. But she says that in a jokey way, just to disclose that. But no, with art, I really like art, and I find it actually very interesting that you love the hands-on aspect of it. So I really like that answer.
Thank you.
So
It's
what
really good.
music? Now I can't wait for this one. What music do you like?
Okay, no judgments.
No judgments.
Okay, your music taste is really good. My music taste is really quite varied. I really do feel like I just kind of like I grew up watching so many different shows and so many different things. I feel like I've also been exposed to so many different people, kind of just growing up, kind of thing, like family, friends, and whatnot. So I do feel like I've always had different influences on my music, like starting with my older sister and my parents and stuff, and then going out into like my friends and things. So always a different influence, kind of thing. I feel like I had a Justin Bieber phase when I was a teenager. I was obsessed.
I think a lot of people, not myself, but a lot of people have had a Justin Bieber phase.
I would imagine
Yeah.
so. There was a period where
Luckily not me, but
well, he wasn't that bad. But no, definitely growing up I'd say that was probably like the first artist I discovered myself for myself, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Whereas
that makes perfect sense.
everyone else was kind of introduced to me by someone else. And I still remember the day I first heard his song, and the neighbor that would come over and watch the movies, she was over at my house, and we just like came across it on YouTube. And I remember she was like, I don't like the sound of this. And I think I turned around to her and I was like, I think I'm in love with this guy. And she laughed at me. She was like, what's the
Was
difference?
that back when Justin Bieber was really
This
famous? Or
no,
was
this was when he first, like, his first ever single was just out one time. It was just out, like still didn't peak fully, like he was getting there, but he wasn't like fully like, do you know what I mean? His first single was out. Like I probably was a Justin Bieber fan from the very beginning up until, do you know what I mean? Up until I grew out of it, kind of thing. But
he's getting a bit bad now? Like, I mean, he was bad in the beginning, but he's
I
getting a
was
bit better
I
now.
was like 12, okay? I was
No,
like
no,
12.
no, 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 no. I understand your
I was
situation.
like 12. Now it would be a different story. Now I don't think I'd listen to him. But now I really do like listening to I do listen to a lot of Disney soundtracks, original soundtracks. I love those. I feel like I'll always love those. I really like Jason Mraz. I love Taylor Swift. I listen to a good bit of Mac Miller. I listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. I listen to the 1975. I listen to Selena Gomez. I listen to Alt J. So that's why I'm saying it's very varied. Like it's really like, do you know what I mean? Like,
why would there be judgment here? It's so varied now. A lot of the stuff I wouldn't be into. But just give me one sec. Here,
Californication
by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Probably my favorite album by them.
It's really good. I usually try to showcase a CD during an interview, but that's the first time I've been successful at it. There's another interview. I was looking for a CD by the guy who I was interviewing, right?
Oh.
And I actually couldn't find it. I would find it if I wasn't looking for it.
But then, when you need it, it's not there.
But then I didn't find it that time. But back to what you're saying about what music do you like? No, that's really, really interesting, actually.
Really varied. Really varied. A lot of Disney, a lot of musicals, a lot of I really like rap. But I like them, but I also like Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez and the Jonas Brothers. And I also like alternative indie, Alt J, the 1975. I listen to Billie Eilish, all right.
Billie Eilish is pretty. She's. I don't know much of her stuff myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't listen to her that much, but I like some of her stuff. But anyways, moving on.
Yes.
I have another question regarding your opinion on music that you listen to.
Okay.
Do you have any recommendations of music, as in albums, bands, songs? If you know any releases that are coming out soon, I'd love to know about it.
I think the album that you put out, Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers, that's one of my favorites. I really like that album, so I would definitely recommend that album. That's probably one of my all-time favorites. I know a lot of people don't really listen to Jason Mraz. I feel like he was kind of popular with I'm Yours way back when, but I feel like his other music is also good, so I feel like I'd recommend him. I don't know, this is the thing, because I've listened to him for so long, I'm like, is he good, or do you just like him because of the nostalgia that's associated with his songs? I do think he's good. I feel like with Disney music, it's definitely the nostalgia that's associated with the songs as opposed to them being really good songs. But I will still have a little concert in my car as I'm driving home, listening to them, singing all the words.
Do you know what? That's why Easy 80s and 80s hits has so many followers on Spotify, because of the nostalgia.
100% because of the nostalgia, because of them. 100%. I love musical soundtracks. One that I listen to quite regularly that was out, I think, last summer. It's a musical called In the Heights, and I love the soundtrack to that. So I actually do listen to that quite often as well. And I always listen while I'm driving. So while I'm driving, I always have a little mini concert. So if anyone looks in the windows while I'm driving, pretend you didn't see anything.
Do you know what? Do you know that if you ever have a memoir, autobiography, anything like that, you should have at the top in italics, if you see me in the car, pretend you saw nothing. That would be a brilliant one-liner that would get so many hits on it. But for my final question, and I ask this to a lot of the people who I interview, and I get some amazing answers, really, really, really good answers that
no pressure.
Help me. No pressure. That helped me a lot. Do you have any tips
about life?
Oh no, we're not gonna go into a big deep kind of talk here now. No, I mean for journalism. Sorry, I should have said that. For journalism, for young broadcasters, for people who are trying to get into what you are in currently today.
I would say my biggest tip is probably just go for it, because I feel like a lot of people probably would just kind of look at something and be like, oh, I'm not going to do that, or oh, I'm probably not good enough, or oh, kind of thing. Just go for it. Don't tell yourself no. Do you know what I mean? Apply for everything and anything that you want to do, and absolutely just go for it and see what happens. You absolutely never know. When I was applying for my job, I felt like, oh, what are the chances of me getting it? Other people, do you know what I mean, are much more skilled. I don't come from the same educational background. Pharmacy is so far off from journalism, all this kind of stuff. But just go for it. Do you know what I mean? Just go for it. Why not? Don't tell yourself no. Apply for everything and go for it, and you never know. And also, I'd say one of the things that I'd say, my sister probably told me when I was very nervous and stuff, just sometimes just do you know what I mean? Just, Reem, you can do it. Just kind of get out of your head a little bit. You can do it. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to send this recording to you so you can get all these little parts to put in your memoir or your
I
autobiography.
didn't realize I was writing a memoir.
Well, you are. This interview has been given some very interesting one-liners and chapter titles. So you're going to want to remember this if you ever do set out to write any stories about your life.
I'll dedicate it to you. I'll be like to Logan, who believed in my memoir from day one.
Thank you so much, Reem. It's been very interesting to talk to you.
My pleasure.
If you'd like to talk to Reem, or if you'd like to look at our social media, you're well. Do you know what you give them the details?
If you need anything, it is Reem, so at ReemElHassany at all my socials.
Now, also, one other thing that you guys really need to do is go into the RT player and start watching probably the last couple of days of News Today. They're very, very interesting, and you'll learn a lot from them. And they can be quite funny at parts as well. And you definitely, my class plays them all the time. A lot of schools play them all the time because you can learn so much from them. And they let you know what's happening at the moment while you're stuck in your classroom.
And lots of cute animals.
As I am in at the moment. So thank you so much, Reem. I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Logan. It's been lovely. Thanks for having me.
A brilliant day and a brilliant week. It's been my pleasure to let you on.
Thank you.
So, bye, Reem. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye guys!